Hey, what's going on, tribe? So, I want to talk to you about my why I'm so passionate about making these videos and communicating to you. And the reason is because there are way too many people who suffer that don't need to. People who have chronic disease that they could cure if they lived differently, if they ate differently, if they thought differently. And that's what gets me fired up is that you, right now, listening to this, have a choice to make. Just like I do, just like everybody does. We all have a choice to make about how we want to live and what we're going to prioritize and what that looks like in the future. And unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who suffer without need. They weren't born that way. They didn't get in an accident. Something terrible didn't happen to them. Unfortunately, and oftentimes through ignorance because they don't know any better. And that's a whole different conversation why most of the public has no idea how to take care of themselves. But just think about that for a second. Most of the public doesn't know how to take care of themselves. They can't do basic first aid on their own health. Can you? And I hope you can. And I bet you can because we've had these videos together and I've been trying to share that with you. And this is why I'm always emphasizing the core principle that the body wants to be healthy. The body is seeking always through its adaptive processes to get closer to health. And unfortunately, most people, or many, many people, are stuck in disease. I want to share with you the tools and the skills so that you can make the difference in your life. And it truly fires me up. It truly hurts to think that there are so many people who are suffering. So just to throw out some examples, every year, 647,000 people in the United States die of heart disease. 647,000. I'm reading this number directly off the CDC's website from last year. Another 599,000 people die of cancer. Alzheimer's, 121,000. Stroke, 146,000. These are all things that do not happen overnight. You do not wake up with cancer. You do not wake up obese. You do not wake up with type 2 diabetes. These are things that are adaptive processes that took, in many cases, years and years and years to get to the point where it's of clinical significance, where a doctor says, you have a diagnosis of X. That process takes time. And what got me fired up in the first place to become a doctor is that I want to help people understand that they are the primary line of defense. They are the primary person who has control every moment of every day of their health. And that's you. You have 100% control of your health. And it's really interesting. There is a virus going around right now that a lot of people are very worried about. However, the data would suggest more people should be worried about cancer or diabetes or heart disease or obesity because those are the killers of people in the hundreds of thousands every year in this country. And that's not to minimize that people can get acutely sick and die of all sorts of pathogens. However, even in those cases, if you did the right work for years and years, or even for months and months, if you just get it together and start making yourself healthier, your body is always seeking to thrive. It's always seeking to adapt. And that's what I want to see for all of us. I want to see all of us be the most powerful people possible, have the most robust health possible, because we're all going to die, no matter how healthy we are. So I'm not trying to claim that if you eat right or move right or live right, you will reach the fountain of youth. That's nonsense. We all have an expiration date. What I see, though, is many people having their expiration date cut short or having tremendous suffering between now and their expiration date that they don't need to have. And that's why I'm passionate. That's why I come to you, to give you maybe a nudge or a bump or maybe not you. Maybe I'm preaching to the choir. Most likely I am. That's why you listen to this, is because you think like this. You already have these thoughts. But then I'm pushing you to go tell the people in your life that you love who don't think like this. Because every single person has at least one other person in this world that they love, and that if they were committed to it, they could connect with that person and help influence that person. So maybe you don't have the health you want. Maybe somebody you love deeply doesn't have the health that you know they could have. I hope that you can encourage them and inspire them and to give them simple things, right? A philosophy makes all the difference. Right? Everybody has a philosophy and everybody gets results. And oftentimes their results are predictable by their philosophy. So that's why I'm encouraging you that the body is built to thrive. The body is built to have health. The body is constantly adapting towards a state of health. If you begin with that premise and then you say, okay, so I'm working with a body that is always seeking to thrive, that's always seeking to adapt. So then what could I do in my daily life as a habit or as a series of habits that would maximize that adaptive trend inside my body, right? That would maximize that inertia towards adaptation and towards health. What could I do about that? And that's what we want to share here, right? We've talked about it. The way you eat, the way you move, the way you live, all those things are tremendously powerful, and all those things are things that you have control over, right? Are you breathing deeply? Are you breathing often? Most people don't breathe very well or very often. All these things are going to have an effect right now on your physiology, but much more important than the immediate effect they have on your physiology is the long-term compound interest they have on your physiology. So my friends, I'm coming to you today with a lot of fire in my heart, and I just felt called. I felt like I had to tell everybody why I'm so fired up all the time about health and why I'm committed to giving you what I can, right? First, I'm trying to give you my philosophy because, like we said, philosophy drives everything. So I'm trying to share with you a philosophy of health that may not be out there in the world, right? It may not be a common philosophy of health. You definitely won't see it on the news, and you probably won't hear it from the experts. And so I think it's upon the people who do understand it, upon the experts who do get it, to share it. And even that term expert, right? Like, your body is the expert. We can learn a lot. And thank God we can learn so much. But there's nothing like your body, like your physiology. Your body has a greater wisdom inside of it that organizes every cell, that moves every adaptive change inside your body. And that far surpasses whatever any of the great minds on this planet can come up with. And that's why all of us understand. Try this. Go to bed tonight and then set your alarm for 3 hours later. And wake up and don't go back to bed. You'll feel like shit. You won't feel good. Right? And that right there is an example that your body is constantly sending you signals about the way that you live and the results that you're getting. Your body doesn't like 3 hours of sleep. Nobody's body does. Right? And we've all been there when we had to wake up early to go to the airport for a flight, or wake up early because we had a test, or we play a sport that caused us to get up early. We've all been there. And we've all said, like, hey man, I would like some more sleep. I'd feel better if I got a little more sleep. The same is true of the way you eat. The same is true of the way you move. The same is true of the emotions that you hold in your body on a constant basis. The relationships you foster with others. All those things have tremendous impact on the quality of life that you have and the quality of physiology you have inside you. And so don't let somebody disempower you by saying you're not an expert, because that's bullshit. You absolutely are. And the underlying philosophy of all that I'm saying is that it's actually incredibly simple when you tap into the momentum your body is built to have, right? Your body is built to be healthy. Your body is built to thrive. Your body is built to adapt. And if it already has this inertia, like water running down a mountain, and we can pull some of the blocks out of the way that are going to stop that flow of water, right? And again, we mentioned it, and I'll keep mentioning it. The way you eat, the way you move, the way you sleep, the way you breathe, the relationships you have, the emotions you hold. All those things are things you have direct control over on an ongoing basis. And if you pull those out of the way, your body will begin to thrive. And that's the cool part, it's not complicated stuff. It's not expert stuff. It's actually very common sense, very basic. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do, is for you to take charge and you to get into the driver's seat of your life. Or maybe you're already there, and I hope you are already there. Help some other people out around you. Help out the people you love. Because if you have a unique perspective on health, and there's many people who don't have a unique perspective on health, and they have a very limited perspective on health and a very limited a very limited series of beliefs on what they're capable of and what their body was meant to be like, then they're actually operating from a philosophy and they're getting certain results. So if you can give them a new philosophy and then you can give them some new strategy in there, then that person can get a whole new set of results. And it's especially if it's somebody you love deeply, it's somebody that you could see live a whole new quality of life or push way back their expiration date. Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing, to get an extra 10 years with somebody you love? So my friends, my deepest hope and prayer in doing all of this is that I can reach at least one person who then can go out and reach one more person, and that we can make this world a healthier world. And the health is really second. I guess it comes first, but it's secondary to the main goal, which the main goal is that you're here for a reason. You are not born by accident. You are not created by accident. You are here on purpose. And I don't know what your purpose is, but I bet you do. And if you don't know it, you could spend some time to figure it out. And the truth about your potential is that I need it. I need whatever you're on this planet to bring into being. I need it. Just like you need whatever I'm here to bring in. And just like every person on this planet needs each other. We truly are one human family. And if we're ever going to move to a higher level of being, right? If we're ever going to start living in a really beautiful way with the 7 billion people on the planet, it's going to require everybody making a huge jump forward in their health, because that's the first level, right? We said the meat vehicle. When the chains come off of that, all the potential becomes possible after that. So my friends, I really do love and appreciate you, and I'm excited to watch you adapt and thrive. Until next time.